Hi, everybody. It's Miss Bobbitt. I missed you guys last week. I'm glad to teach you today, Tuesday, for Packet 6, Day 7, June 2nd, 2020. All right, guys, let's get started. For our class schedule today, we'll be starting with vocabulary with our synonym part on the synonym and antonym practice sheet. We'll do reading. We'll read about worms and Sewell, and we'll reread the wiggly worm. Then compare and contrast the text. For writing, we'll write a sentence in cursive. And for math, I put what time it is because we're going to be doing everything. All our math problems are going to be involved with time. And for science today, we're going to be reading about soil in the packet and reading a diagram and answering the questions after. All right, so this week I wanted to show you what it looks like in the actual packet. So if you need help with finding descriptions or examples or what to do, you can look in this vocabulary section. It says complete the synonym section and the synonym and antonym practice. Just in case if you don't know where to find it, you can find it here. It gives you the instructions. So for find the words that have a similar meaning, use the synonym word bank to fill in the chart. So for my word bank, I have at the bottom over here, and I'm just going to read the words in my word bank, and then I'll read the words in the chart, and then I will put them together. So the words in the word bank are speedy, tiny, unusual, enormous, drowsy, unhurried, exhausted, narrow, flavorful, unkind, chilly, and understandable. Now, for the words that are in the chart, small, thin, huge, quick, tired, slow, sleepy, cold, strange, tasty, mean, simple. I like to read them and overview them. And then I also like to start with my word bank. I don't like to start exactly where the small is. I like to start where my word bank is and fill it in as it goes. And it's not necessarily in order, but that's just how Miss Bobbitt likes to do hers. So when I start off with speedy, I'm gonna pull my word up here. Speedy, small, no. Speedy, thin. Speedy, huge. Quick and speedy, yes. That means the same thing. So I'm gonna go and make sure I don't have anything else that kind of means fast, because these are synonyms. Remember, we're looking for the meaning of, sorry guys, about to go over what a synonym is. You should already know a synonym has the similar meaning. It's like meaning the same thing, okay? So the next one is tiny. Ooh, right there, small and tiny. They're both little, so I'm gonna put tiny right there. The next word is unusual. Thin, huge, that's not really talking about anything unusual. Tired, slow, sleepy, cold, strange. Yes, strange, something that's strange is also unusual. Let's go to my next word, enormous. Then something that's enormous isn't thin, but something that is huge is enormous. So my word I'll make it a little bit bigger for my words. All right, the next word is drowsy. Now, drowsy means to be tired or sleepy. Drowsy means to be tired or sleepy. So we have two words that are tired and sleepy. I'm just gonna put drowsy in the sleepy section. Drowsy in the sleepy section because of its ending suffix Y. I just wanted to put them in there in the same one. Unhurried. The next word is unhurried. Now we got to pay attention to the word unhurried. Let's pay attention to this word unhurried. Hurried by itself means to be quick or fast, but unhurried means to be what? If something is that means means not, and that means not hurried. So we have to find a word that means that it's not hurried. So, sorry, I'm gonna pull unhurried up. We go thin, no, tired, slow would be unhurried. All right, the next word is exhausted. Now, exhausted means also tired. It could also mean sleepy, but we're gonna put exhausted with the tired. The next one is narrow. Now, if something's narrow, that means it's really, really thin. It's a thin space that you can walk into. It's very small. So the word that really closest to narrow is thin. The next word is flavorful. If something is, flavorful, it is tasty. Flavorful is tasty. It's unfavorable, it will be nasty or not tasty at all. The next word is unkind. When somebody is unkind, remember this is also a word with using a prefix. Remember that un means not. So this is saying not kind. So if they're not kind, they are mean. The next one is chilly. If somebody is chilly, they are cold. And the last one, understandable, is simple. If something is understandable, it is simple. That means it's easy to understand. Something that is simple is easy and understandable is easy. So that's it for your synonym vocabulary part today. Tomorrow you guys will be working on the antonyms. And we're moving on to our reading. So for the reading, again, I wanted to show you where you can find the day 7 and how it looks inside your packet exactly. So that's in the green highlighted section. So today we're gonna read about worms and soil, and then we're gonna reread wiggly worms and create a compare and contrast chart. So about worms and soil, when we first look at this, do we see any pictures? No, that's something that we have to think about. Also, this text is a nonfiction text. Because this is a nonfiction text, what is in it is true. What is in it is people have actually researched and found out these things to be true. So that's something good to know. Also, I'm noticing that we have bolded words. So those are the words that I'm gonna probably maybe have to pay attention to possibly later on, or this is something that they really want us to understand. It is very important. Remember, bolded words are very important, those bolded words right there. So let's begin. Earthworms are animals with long, soft, slimy bodies. Earthworms have no legs, eyes, or ears. They spend most of their lives in soil. As an earthworm wiggles through the soil, it makes tunnels. An earthworm moves by stretching its body sections or segments. The tunnel let air and water reach the roots of plants. Other living things in the soil use air and water too. Earthworms eat the dead leaves and animals in the soil. And one day, an earthworm can eat its weight in soil. Earthworms leave their body waste in the tunnel or on top of the soil. These wastes are called castings. Worm castings are full of nutrients that plants need to live and grow. Well, because you guys already read the wriggly worm yesterday, I'm not going to go over and read it, but I do have it here just so I can go back and forth when I create my chart. So for my chart, and you can always go back and look at your packet. Your packet gave an example. It put the wiggly worm. The same will be in the middle, and then about worms would be on the third row. The third column. Okay. Try to move that out of our way. All right. So for me, I just put that wiggly worm is very specific. It gives us imagery, feelings of a worm, feelings how to be a worm. Basically, it helps you understand how it is to feel like a worm. The bolded words are factual, and then it's basically helping us understand how worms live. How worms live. Okay, that is. So, I spelled worms wrong, guys. I will fix it. So, while we're looking at this, I said both describe that worms live in soil, and then they also kind of like make up like you can infer that both of them are saying worms are good. Worms are good for the other living things. And then this also in the wiggly worm, it was describing how even in all the animals envy the worm. So worms are good. So on this side, the wiggly worm is it is a fiction text. The fiction text. Those that already thought about it, this is a fiction text, and I'm gonna make that pink just because I want to. This means fiction, and then the green is so if you notice that some of the fiction text has the same thing, but it's kind of like a literary nonfiction type of poem. And because most of the imagery that it gives us and the descriptions that it gives us is actually true of what a worm would have to go through living in the soil. So that's it for our reading. We're going to move on to writing. And for writing today, all right, guys. And for our writing today, we're going to be doing write a sentence in cursive. And your sentence is, I have blank brothers and sisters. And I put have a great summer because I might do that one as an extra one. But for the cursive, I just want you guys to, you can actually have a sheet like this. It says, I have two brothers, I have two sisters, I have two brothers, I have two sisters. Miss Bobbitt, I actually wrote her own on her own notebook paper. But for the cursive, I just want you guys to remember that there are uppercase and lowercase letters. So if you're just learning the uppercase letters, that's fine. But I want you to eventually get to knowing how to do the lowercase letters in cursive as well. Know when to capitalize and not is the same thing. If you're writing in regular handprint, you will have to capitalize the first letter at the beginning, and then you would have to put a period at the end. So punctuation is the same. Also, another tip that I love is don't pick up your pencil until you finish with finished with the word. That means like cursive is very a flowy type of handwriting, and you have to keep flowing with it. You cannot pick up your pencil at every word, at every letter like we do in print. So this is my handwriting. I try to do my best. I haven't written in cursive in a while. So it says, I have two brothers, I have two brothers. I did not want to lie because I do not have any sisters, so I kept writing, I have two brothers. So, as you can see, I'm gonna just practice showing you how to do some of my letters that I did. This is I. And then when it's the have, it's the lowercase have like that with the A. And then the B. You see how I'm flowing and I'm not moving my my pencil until I have to. Some things like when you cross your T's, you wait till you're finished with the word to cross your T. I was gonna do have a great summer, but I decided not to. I want you guys to try to do that as extra and then show your teacher so she can be like, oh my goodness, or he can be like, oh my goodness, you guys are great at cursive writing. All right, guys, so we're gonna move on into math, and I just wanted to show you, read this from our packet because it's very important that we kind of like do this, giving you an overview. So don't just automatically do those math problems. Make sure you do the overview and read the instructions throughout. So it says, last year in second grade, you learned about telling time to the nearest 5 minutes. Use what you remember from last year to help you tell time to the nearest minute. There's a chart to help you guys refresh your memory, and I also have this in my video so you guys can see a bigger version of it. In another one, it says in third grade we were learning about to the nearest minute. So for you to use the minute hand, you can count by 5s to the closest big number and then count by 1s. So, and then also there's a YouTube video for you guys to help refresh your memory on how to tell time. So these are some nice posters that I like about telling time. Step 1, the hour hand is it's short. Your hour hand is short. So just pay attention to that. And then your long hand is the minutes. It's actually long. And then also to every step that this is also goes by 5 and it starts right here. So this would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and then 60, and then it will be actually go back to 0 again over here. 12 always goes back to 0, and then 1 is the 5. So that might be a little bit different for us. And it shows us the same way. The hour hand is shorter, and the minute hand is longer. All right, so let's start with our first question in that set today. It says there are 24 hours in one day. So that's something. And then Michael will be at camp for 3 days. How many hours will he be at camp for? So let's highlight what we know. we know that there are 24 hours in a day. That is something that we know. Let's highlight something that we're trying to find. We are trying to find how many hours will he be at camp. We also know that he will be at camp for 3 days. So I'm going to highlight a different color. 3 days. So with our operations that we can choose from, remember, we can choose from division, subtraction, or we can do multiplication and addition. So I'm going to give you guys a little second to think. All right, so the options that I'm seeing are addition and multiplication. So first, I'm going to show you what it looks like for addition. So for addition, we can do actually repeated addition. So that means because we know that there are 24 hours in a day and we have to count up to 3 days, we would have to count 24 3 times. 24, 24, 24, or 24 plus 24 plus 24. And when we do repeat addition, it kind of looks like this. 24 plus 24, we're going to do 4 plus 4 is what? We'll start at the ones place, guys. Remember, we still start at the ones place. And if we start at the ones place, 4 plus 4 is 8. You're right. It is 8. Let me get my pen out. Okay. Thank you. Is 8. And 2 plus 2 is 4. So I know I like, when I do a repeated addition, I like to start off with the first 2, and then I take my total from the first 2 24s, 24 plus 24, and then I add the last 24. So then I have 48 plus 24. 8 plus 4 is 12. So we do not put 12 in this one place. We put 2 up here, a 1 with the, basically we're bringing the tens over to the tens place, but a 1, and then we add our tens place. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. So our answer would be 72. So that's fine. Repeat addition wasn't that much in that section, but sometimes we can use actual multiplication. So let's look at how we would use multiplication. And for this, it would be 2-digit multiplication. So it will be 24 times 3, because in repeated addition, we added 24 3 times. In multiplication, all we have to do is 24 times 3. So for 24 times 3 is a 2-digit multiplication. We like to start it at our ones place first. We pull apart our answer, and we want to start at our ones place. So that means it's 3 times 4, or 3 groups of 4. So I've already made my 3 groups, and then I'm just going to put dots for my one place. Just going to put tiny dots for my one place for my, and put, how many should I put in my first group? Yes, I'm going to put 4 dots. Then I'll put 4 dots in each group. So I like to count each, so 4, and then I'll count this, and I'll start at 5. 5, 6, 7, 8. And I like to put the number that it was on that circle. And then 9, 10, 11, 12. So all together for my ones place, I had 12. So now because we broke it down, we have to focus on the tens place. The 2 and the 24 is really saying 20. The 2 and the 24 is really saying 20. So it's either 3 times 20 or 3 groups of 20. So if we do this, we can actually draw our count by tens by drawing a stick. So I like to draw a stick. So instead of putting 20 dots, we're going to put 2 sticks in each circle. Because if we put 2 sticks in each circle, 2 of those sticks are equaling to 20. So it'll be 20 over here, will be the first one. And let's start off with the second one. And we'll count by tens. 30, 40, 50, 60. So altogether, we have 60. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add both of the answers that we've had up there. So it'll be 60 plus 12, and it equals to 72. So we see we got the same answer, but we did it in different ways. So I did those 2 different ways just so you guys can see how the opposite may look, stuff like that when you go home, because not everybody does it the same way. If you did not do it this way, go back. If you did not do it the addition way, go back and try to do it the addition way. If you did not do it the multiplication way, won't you just go back and try to do it the multiplication way? All right, so that's it for that one. We're gonna move on to the next question. So there are 60 seconds in a minute. If Peter ran for 5 minutes, how many seconds did he run? Let's stop and think. With this question, what do we know? I'm gonna get my highlighter. And what do we know? There are 60 seconds in a minute. We know that. We know that there, if Peter ran for 5 minutes, we know that Peter ran for 5 minutes. We do not know, something that we do not know. We do not know how many seconds did he run for. We don't know that. We don't know how many seconds he ran for if he ran for 5 minutes. So this kind of problem, we can actually do the kind of technically do the same thing that we did in the first problem with 24 hours in a day. So because it's 60 seconds in a minute, that means it's 60, 60, 60, 60. Okay, what are you seeing? It's a repeat addition. We could do repeat addition, but I said that's too long this time. I don't want to do repeat addition this time. It's too long. So I'm going to help myself and help us out today and do it in multiplication. So we got multiplication, it will be 60 times 5, because if we did 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 60, we added 65 times. So that means 60 times 5. So 5 times 60, we're going to start with our 1. So 5 times 0. 5 groups of 0. I did not have to add any dots. I don't have to add any sticks, because 5 times 0 is always going to be, anything times 0 is always going to be 0. So I just wanted to show you guys that, because I want you to stop. And sometimes we have to draw it out to see it, because we may sometimes try to create numbers in our head that are not there. So for the next one, we're going to do 5 times 60, or 5 groups of 60. So for this one, we're going to do the same thing we did before and count by tens. So instead of drawing the dots, I'm going to count by tens by drawing my sticks. So in each group, I'm going to have 6 sticks. So because 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Again, 30, 40, 50, 60. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So I have 5 groups of 60. So then I'm going to count each by 10. The first group is going to be 60. So now I'm going to start 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. I'm going to put 120. 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180. Put 180. 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, 300. Also, if you might not even have to do it that far, you could have just also multiplied 5 times 6. If you already knew that equals 30, you just would have had to add that 0. Because you add the 0 right here, you add the 0 right there, and it would be 300. So that's also another quick way you could have done it. We're moving on to the next math problem. All right, so it says your mom says that you need to start your packet work the next morning when the little hand is on the 10 and the long hand is between 8 and the 9. What times would you start? So this question already gave us a hint, but I remember I told you we count by 5s for each value. Excuse me, we'll count by 5s for each value for the minute. And then we count by 1s just for the hour, the shorthand. So for the shorthand, it's right here. Shorthand is right there. So the times are going to be between 10 and then you do colon, 1040 to 1045. So I want you guys to see it. This 10 goes right there. This 40 goes right there. And same for the other one. So we're looking at numbers. We're looking at the time between 1040 and 1045. So all we would have to do is count by ones until we get to 1045. We count from 1040 to 1040 to 1045. So our numbers we're going to be looking out for is 10 that it could possibly be is 1041, 1042, 1043, 1044. So those are our possible, what times are we should start our homework. So what time should you start your homework? 1044, 1042, 1043, or between 1040 and 1045. So I hope I was able to help you with that. And we're gonna move on to science. So today for science, you're gonna read about the soil in your packet, read the diagram, and answer the questions. So for today, we don't have, for the soil part, you didn't have a separate sheet of paper in your packet for the soil. It actually just put it in the instructions section in this blue highlighted section. So that's why I really wanted to show you guys this so that you guys will not get lost, because it is sometimes confusing. So soil is a mixture of minerals, weathered rocks, and other things. It has bits of decayed plants and animals called humus. Humus looks dark. It adds nutrients to the soil. Plants then use these nutrients. Humus or humus, I'm sorry guys, I'm not sure. Humus or humus works like a sponge to soak up rainwater and keep the soil moist. Worms and other small insects lived in the humus or humus. So let's look at this diagram. This diagram shows the layers of the soil, and this is a diagram and it has captions to tell us what different labels and captions. Topsoil, subsoil, and bedrock are labels. And then this section right here, I'm gonna just put a circle around it so you can see it. This section is a caption because it's more than just a few words. So each layer of soil has a different amount of rocks and humus. So let's read it. It says, look at the size of the rock particles from the bedrock to the topsoil. So as you look at the size of the rock particles, this is the bedrock, and I'm gonna say that's the tops. I like to separate it so I can look. How are they different? So I put that bedrock looks like one big rock, and subsoil is where the rocks are being broken up a bit more. I can go on and further and say that it's broken up into tiny, tiny pieces, into very tiny pieces when it is in the topsoil. So it's like gradually the rocks are breaking down. They're big, and they break down, then they break down, then they break down as they reach higher in the soil and reach, I guess, a higher layer of the soil. So the next one says, where would you expect to find humus? So we go back to our reading. It says humus or humus is looks dark. It's add nutrients to the soil, and these nutrients, humus works as a sponge to soak up the rainwater and keep the soil moist. So I'm going to be looking for a dark area. This is the wrong thing. I'm going to be looking for a dark area in my diagram, the darkest area, and that's topsoil. Most humus will be in the topsoil because it's soft and it's dark, because it acts like a sponge and it soaks up. It's the most wettest part because it soaks up all that rain and water. So the next layer is, it says, next question, number 3 says, what layer, oh, sorry, y'all, technical difficulties. Oh, we're back. So it says, what layer does the soil contains plant root? And I put topsoil because even in the picture, you can see the roots are in the topsoil. So that is actually, we are done for today. I hope I was able to help you. I will see you again on Friday, I believe. I really did miss you guys last week. I'm glad I'm able to help you this week. You guys have a great day. Bye.